AL just re-signed with Paddletek. I would assume that deal is pretty stinking large. It's crazy what some of these paddle companies are paying out these days. And if you sign too early or if you sign a long-term deal, you may end up losing out. I mean, it seems like that figure is changing at a rapid rate. And I think what pros were getting paid last year for paddle deals compared to this year's night and day. This episode is sponsored by Bemer Therapy. If you guys want to check out Bemer, great medical device. I've been using it for a long time now. I sleep on it. I use it morning and night. You can go to my website, TysonMcGuffin.com, and see what Bemer's all about. What's going on? My name is Tyson McGuffin. Welcome to the McGuffin Show. It is a snowy day here in Coeur d'Alene. Been screwing around with a power outage the last hour or so. We got a ton of snow last night, and got a little 4-pack today. Got my boy K-Mac, got my boy pickleball guy Kyle, and my boy Brice here. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing good, brother. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Pickleball Kyle, man. Good to see you, man. This is his first time on the pod.
I'm excited. I just wanted to show up and look the part.
God,
so
I mean,
don't mind.
God, you're good looking. I'll tell you what. Skechers hat, that greasy haircut in the back. I want to bite.
I feel like I'm looking at a doppelganger over here.
Who is this guy?
Look at that.
Impersonation at its finest. And Brice, how was your weekend, man?
It was good, man. It's good to see you guys again. I mean, I kind of always run into my man K Squared. You know, he lives not too far from me, so it's always good to see him as well. But we're good, man. Feeling good.
Yeah. You ever get to play at Kyle's house? Just Kyle let you play in his backyard? Yeah,
I've been. He's been gracious enough to invite me over there once or twice. I've gotten some big showdowns over there with him. We shot some content back there. I think a big viral video of him coaching me up, my trash game, trying to get me right. So yeah, I've been over there.
Get you right. All right, topics of discussion here. We'll talk about my injury. We haven't had a pod for a couple weeks, so we'll kind of brush on MLP, Carvana Grand Slam. AL re-signs with Paddletek. Skechers just signed a 5-year deal with USA Pickleball, taking over. Not only did they sign a deal with USA Pickleball, but they're the official shoe for APP, PPA, MLP, Viper Pro, Pinkies all day long. You can purchase the Viper Pros right now. You just cannot purchase my colors. My colors will be available in the next few weeks, so super exciting. Also, too, seems like Dylan and J-Dub are proving themselves that they are the third best team with back-to-back third-place finishes. Talk about some camps, and we'll talk about Mr. Loong, TL. But first and foremost, getting injured sucks. In the 8 years I played professionally, this is definitely one of my first significant injuries. I've been a bum on the couch doing a bunch of PT. Been using my Bemer, you know that, baby. Been using my Bemer about 2 to 3 hours a day. Been doing a bunch of red light therapy, dry needling, electric stems, scraping. Gentlemen, tell me, have you guys ever had scraping done? It is brutal, no, Brice. I know you know what scraping is.
Yeah, well, welcome to the real athlete world.
Ugh. And bro,
welcome.
Scraping on the bottom of your foot, it's definitely not pleasant. But yeah, foot's feeling a lot better. Ended up tearing my plantar fascia at MLP. I was playing Anna Leigh, I don't know, in the middle of that Dream Breaker. As she's in my face, you know, pumping her chest, letting me know. Her and Leah Jensen. Oh my gosh, Leah had fire in her eyes, and she was putting it on me. I'll tell you what. Anyhow, happened in that Dream Breaker. Popped my foot. Excruciating pain. Felt lightning bolts of pain running up my leg. And then, yeah, had to play Sunday, kind of played on one leg, ended up making it through the semis, played in the finals. We ended up losing, obviously, but had a nice little run. My man Rafa was, you know, doing the old, what's his little roundabout thing? You know, his little finger wave. You know, he gets that thing going.
Round him up.
Round him up, baby. Round him up. But yeah, crazy weekend. MLP, you know, after not playing for a couple years, love the energy, love the camaraderie. Funny story, like my wife lost her voice. Skechers was there, and Skechers passed out like a bunch of cowbells to all the New York Hustler fans. So there's like cowbells rolling, Meg's losing her voice, damn near passed out in the crowd. We had these 2 fans that were sitting front row, and for every single match, they brought so much energy, brought so much hype. It was pretty cool. But yeah, definitely love MLP. Kyle, both Kyles, you guys were at MLP, correct? Or K-Mac, you were not. You're probably watching.
Yeah, I was watching from home for that one.
Yeah, I was there. In fact, that match with the Hustlers in the fives may have been, in my opinion, it's the best pickleball environment I've seen personally. And I heard some others say it was one of the best they've seen. I haven't seen them all. I've only been around for like 18 months, but that was an insane environment you guys were playing in. Bro,
I've played on all the big stages, finals of Nationals at Indian Wells Tennis Garden, finals of US Open, finals of TOC, all the big majors. Nothing adds up to that electricity, that craziness, and that freaking mayhem at Legacy on Championship Court. And zero etiquette out of the crowd. You miss a serve, they're going crazy. A ball hits off the tape, they're going crazy. You miss a return. Zero etiquette. And
I like that.
I'm actually, I'm freaking here for it. You know, I got a bunch of DMs and stuff after and heard from a bunch of fans, and they all said the exact same thing. They would love to see a 20 tournament MLP style year where it's just MLP events all year long. But yeah, getting injured definitely sucked, but feeling much better. So happy about that. I'll be back for Pictona March 9th. So pumped and ready to take some boys down for that. Let's see here. Carvana Grand Slam this last weekend. Benny and Colin have been doing their thing all year long. Wasn't sure if Ben was gonna, bring the same fire on Championship Sunday this last weekend, obviously after losing in singles and losing in mix, but Ben did Ben things, and I believe, that wasn't the first game that Ryan and Matt have taken off him. Ryan and Matt took a game off him at Masters. But at Desert Ridge, K-Mac, tell me if I'm incorrect, Colin and Ben beat those guys in 3, correct? Pretty sure.
Yeah, I wasn't calling Championship Sunday, but I watched it. I do believe it was straights for that one. I could be wrong, but it definitely didn't go 5 for at the most.
Yeah, but yeah, Benny did his thing, played super well. Let's see who won the singles. Frederico won singles. I think that was Frederico's first title this year. He had made a couple finals. He won like 2-0 or 0-2. He just lit through Jay, and it looked like he had absolutely no answer for like a hot stack shoot. He looks pretty dangerous. He looked very dangerous. I mean, that 2-0 match lasted about 10 minutes. It was short and sweet. And then Newman and Bright got their first mixed doubles title, and I would assume it was nice not to see AL and Ben on the other side of the net on Championship Sunday. I'll tell you what, that's a much different story. That's a much different story.
For sure.
The crazy thing, too, is that, I mean, Georgia, how bold is Georgia to go through Ben, speed up a ton, especially at the end of Game 3, sped up a ton and was beating Benny head-to-head, and on Championship Point, speeds up and beats him head-to-head. I mean, does not get better than that.
Yo, I was on the call. I was actually on the call for that match, and, we talked about that idea of on the ball, off the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And, I said it. I said she's got to be bold and balanced, going at Ben, speeding up at him, mixing up different spots, and even dinking behind him to get JW involved. And, she played that match so well, not just from an ability standpoint or execution, but just pickleball IQ for a teenage girl is just off the charts for me. So,
yeah.
Mad props to her.
Brice, did you get to watch that match?
No, I didn't. I was there. I think while they were playing, I had to go play in the opportunity bracket.
Oh, the old opportunity bracket. Oh, yeah.
So I think I missed that one.
Climb through the trenches.
But it sounds dope, though. Georgia. I've seen Georgia and JW play up close at Brad's house.
Yeah.
And,
don't judge a book by its cover.
I think there's just something to it. No, I think there's just something to it, man. When you're young, you don't got nothing to lose, dog.
Yeah,
you don't care. You don't care as much as you do as, say, when you're 28, 27. You got deals on the table. You got kids, mouths and feet. You don't care as much. You're 17, 16.
Right.
Who cares?
Right. Pickleball Kyle, what would you rank Georgia in women's doubles? Top 5, top 3. I know it's a tough one. But.
Oh man, I feel like this conversation comes up a lot. It's hard to see. It's hard to pick it right off the bat without the list in front of me. But I mean, I feel like she's making her way into the top 10.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, especially with performances like that. I mean, Georgia. The one thing that stands out about her is the power she plays with. I mean, Anna Leigh, I think, is by far the most powerful player as far as just ball off the paddle with the way she can hit it. But Georgia's like, I was talking about this with a friend, similar, and I think I don't have a major tennis background, so I probably can't speak super intelligently to the technique that she hits with, but her and Anna Leigh do have tight technique on their volleys.
Short,
and
compact.
The ball, like, short, compact swings. Sometimes it feels like Georgia hits it, harder than JW at times. Yeah. Or in a lot of guys. And so that was one thing I was impressed with. I don't know, top 10. I have to look at the list for sure. Before I say number 6 and I get outed here.
Right. Yeah, I think one thing that stands out is that she's just very bold, and that's something that K-Mac said on the mic numerous times. Like she trusted her offense. She found good spots with the speed up, sped up at Benny's like right hip a couple times, went back behind him. I mean, was very calculated and it seemed very educated with where she was putting her spots. And that two-hander is real, baby. That two-hander freaking comes back in a hurry. And like what you just mentioned, Kyle, that two-hander is probably a bit more stinging than J-Dub's one-hander, Don't test these females two-handers.
I'm curious to see if this because I think Ben and Anna Leigh only lost, was it one time last year? Does that sound right? Maybe once or twice?
They lost to so Benny was I mean, not to throw an excuse out there for him, but Ben was off for like, I don't know, he didn't play a couple tournaments. He was off for like four weeks or so. And him and AL lost to Rye and Catherine into at the Atlanta Open, like in the semis.
The Atlanta Open.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see. I think it had only been Riley and Catherine at the time, or Riley and somebody else. But if this is one of those moments for other players, like, yeah, they're beatable. And obviously it's not like the floodgates are open. I mean, they're still Ben and Anna Leigh. But at some point, and I'm facing this with my own plan, is like if I get on the court with Tyson or somebody else at that level, you look at them a little bit differently when you first start getting on the court with them, and then you see like, oh, they're beatable. You're not. I mean, you're unbeatable. But most players.
Stop.
Hey, you better get him on that football.
Yeah, that's too funny.
Get him now.
Yeah,
get him now.
Right.
You gotta get him on a football.
But no, I mean, it's true though, man. I mean, in any sport, Brice, I'm sure the same thing when you're playing football. Like, I mean, you can respect people, you cannot over-respect them, right? And in order to find some success in that sense, you got to have some belief, man. I mean, K-Mac knows this. You got to freaking bring some delusion. You got to. I swear, like some of the best athletes. Go ahead.
Like I'm an analyst to my core, but like, if I were to be a champion, I'd have to change my thinking, right? Like you can't just say, well, I have a 50 or 8% chance of winning this point. Like in the big moments, you have to say, I don't care. I'm going to get it done. I don't care who's in front of me. And if you don't think like that, honestly, you've already lost at the highest levels.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about, playing in the league or whatever, like, especially when you're younger, right? Like, you're looking up to all these players, right? So Kyle, like you've been in the game for like 18 months. Like you've been seeing Tyson, you've been seeing Ben, you've been seeing all these. Your game gets better. Then like you say you step out on the court with Tyson, like you have to drop the fact that I'm playing against Skechers, Tyson. Like, you know what I mean? Like it has to be, this is a guy, he's wearing a pink shirt, he's wearing really short shorts. I don't care who he is. Like I'm just about to rock. You know what I mean? Like, cause I feel like I have to beat this guy. Like this guy's on the court with me. Like you said, like whatever delusion number has to be, like you have to have that, because like if you don't have it, then when you lose matches, like you're gonna get comfortable with losing matches. And now it's like, what are you playing for?
No, for sure. Bro, when I hadn't beaten Ben for, I don't know, a couple years and obviously beat him at Texas Open this last year, like that whole week leading up to the tournament, I told myself, like, it's my time, I'm the best. And then come championship Sunday, I kept telling myself that same thing. Like the night before, I texted my wife a bunch of crazy things, just building myself up and turning myself into this figure that was on this pedestal. And so I went into championship Sunday and I kept telling myself, it's my time. Like this guy's nothing. And I kid you not, that stuff works. It totally does. Like all those key words and all that self-talk and building yourself up. Like if you don't believe it, there's no freaking way it's going to happen, you know?
Well, Tyson, I do want to say, like, to build on what you just said, there was something different about that Texas Open win that you had never experienced before. Like right before you went on for the championship match, you actually said, "Can you hit with me and warm me up?" And
bro, I totally forgot about that.
And we warmed up. We warmed up for 15 minutes.
You know what? You're the reason why I won Texas Open.
No, it's what I've been telling everybody. Like the way I was stroking the ball with your paddle, which is weighed up big time. Like I could barely swing it. It was so heavy. And then you go out there and I'm standing next to Wes Burrows and Emily Ackerman. We're watching you from the baseline. And they're just like, what's gotten into Tyson? And I'm like, I don't know, but I warmed him up.
Oh, my, this is perfect. I totally spaced
you
about
built up his confidence.
He did.
You built him up.
Did.
Like Tyson is just striping winners past me in warm-ups. Like we're just supposed to be like hitting back and forth into the winner. I mean, like, so I knew what I was doing the whole time. So
beautiful.
But no, that's true, man. You can't. The confidence in life is everything. If you don't have it, I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah. You know what's so funny about Dub, and I've mentioned this before, is that the man is beating you in a polo and sweatpants. I mean, take a slice of that. He is. He's wearing sweatpants and a freaking polo, buttons open, and he's saying, "Go ahead, come at me." Oh, bro!
I saw him this past weekend, and I was just watching him, and I was like, "Yeah, that cat's definitely different." But I love it. I don't know if it's something that he does. Like I don't know him enough to know. Like, is he doing this? Like is he in the mirror telling himself like, "Yeah"? Like, is he doing that, or is that just him? But I like it.
Right. Yeah, I think.
I hope he's doing that. I hope JW is in the mirror going, "You're a beast. You are a beast." Like, don't.
I want to see a video of that taking place.
I'm pretty sure it has, because a couple of times I've seen that collar be fully popped up. So
he means
he's
business.
Feeling himself a little bit. He's feeling himself. Pop that collar.
That's too funny. Let's see what else took place at Carvana. K-Mac, was there anything that kind of stood out, as you were hot on the mic for a couple days?
Yeah, man, I think the big thing is just, obviously the top, the Ben, Colin, Riley, Matt, those guys are still, they're still relatively dominant. They're not losing very often, but just in general across the board, matches are just getting tighter, from the first round, second round, like they're way more entertaining. Like all the upcoming pros, people that have been pros, for a while, everybody's putting in the work in order to either maintain their position or to close that gap. So for me, it's just a fan. Like it's exciting to see. It's exciting to see the growth in everybody's game, the way the game's changing, but just the matches in general are a lot tighter than they used to be a couple years ago, for sure.
Yeah, no, I very much think so. Level's getting better. It's getting younger. We're obviously seeing players move to areas where there's a lot of high-level bodies, and so they have a lot of upside because they're getting to train with top 20 players. I think that plays a huge part, obviously. But take a look at Christian Alshon. Like lives in Delray Beach. I mean that whole crew in Delray Beach is getting better so quickly because. Right. You have the Johnsons, you have the Waters, you have James, you have Anna, you have Christian, Andre. I mean, it just goes on and on. I mean, that's like the biggest freaking hot pocket in the world. And no, it's huge, man. And I mean, I would assume with time, there's only going to be more players moving to areas just for that upside sake, So Brice, so you played Carvana. You guys.
Yep.
Did you guys go 2-2? How many dubs you get?
Nah, I got my first dub. Okay. I had a very good mixed partner, Milo. That's Pesa Tioni's cousin. And she did very well, I think, that Friday. She went women's 5-0 and got bronze. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure, her mindset was set on winning gold in a 4-0 mixed. with a guy that was a ex-professional athlete. You know what I mean? Little did she know, we were talking about confidence earlier, is my confidence as high as hers on the pickleball court? No. Why? I tell Kyle this all the time because we see each other often. I don't practice enough. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to, like y'all were talking about Georgia, like when it comes down to those big points, like 9, 10, 8, and, you know, you're trying to get off the defensive point or you're trying to, like, end the game, like, I'm not feeling as confident on that point than I do on points 1 through 6. And, like, I can unashamedly tell you that. Why can I unashamedly tell you that? Because this is not my sport. This is not my number one sport. I'm dabbing into it. You know what I'm saying? Right. I like it. I enjoy it. I'm on the podcast with y'all. I want to be good at it, but I'm not all the way there yet. You know what I'm saying? Right. So my athleticism can only take me so far. And, yeah, man, I enjoy it, though, man. Like, being able to compete, like, you're playing against people that, in my mind, like, it humbles me, right? Like, I'm playing against people that I'm like, this dude can't even beat me. And, like, if we're in a phone booth, like, I'm body slamming this cat. You know what I mean? But they're tearing me up on the pickleball court, you know? Sure. And, like, and I can see it. Like, we played this guy. He was really tall. He was, like, 6'7". Like, people are finding out that I'm, like, an NFL guy, right? So the first game was really close. I'm going at him. And then the second game, like, he just started, like, going, like, hard at me, just Ferrari forehands at me, like, all day. I was blocking some of them, but, like, I really wasn't handling it well. And I could just see the look in his eyes, like, how he was looking at me, like, man, I got this guy. Like, this guy's nothing. And I was like, just wait, buddy. Just wait. I'm about to get with Koszuta. I'm about to go in the quarter lane. I'm going to get with Tyson. Good. The next time I see him, like I told y'all before, it just makes me feel like youthful again. Like, a whole bunch of people, like, running to different courts. Oh, I just got a text. I got to go get my basket, you know, and all that. Then you see guys. I didn't know K-Mac was there, but next time I make sure I go to, like, the press box so I can say what's up to K-Mac. Yeah. But, you know, seeing guys like Kyle and, you know, guys there, you know, filming your points, you know, laughing at you. I'm trying to talk and trying to make it as loose and light as possible when I play. So yeah, I'm enjoying them.
Well, good, man. Good. And then pickleball, Kyle, did you play this last weekend?
Yeah. So I played the pro bracket. We won the first one. Played with Michael Lloyd, who you played him in singles.
Yeah, Mike's got some game, man. I like Mike. Cool dude.
He's yeah, I was rooting so hard against you in that match. I mean, he came out.
He came out firing. He came out hot. He was striping. No, he totally was.
Yeah, he's a good player. So he lives close by. So we've been playing a bunch of tournaments. We went out and we actually got into the main draw for the first time. We've had to go qualifiers the last 2 tournaments. We won out of qualifiers, which was good. So it was nice to not have to do that 7 a.m. But we played a Ben Newell and Zach Taylor in a marathon match. It was like 18-16 in the first and then like 11-8 in the second, which was cool. We were on like court 25 way in the back and accumulated like a 50 to 60 person crowd, you know, at like 15-14.
The locals showing up to see their boys.
All right. So that was good. Winds were crazy though, the whole tournament. So we had like, you know, there's some clips that have gone out on social, but like 30-mile-an-hour winds at our back. So we're like just tapping overheads because we're so nervous to miss them long. But we won that one, which was good, and then played Matt and Riley second round. They blasted us, and then played Eric Lang and West Burrows in the back draw and lost that one. But it was good. I mean, for us, it was good. It was like I mentioned, like me and him have played multiple tournaments together, and been really close. Like we lost 15-12 to Julian and Hayden after being up like 12-8. Right. You know, we've had like 2 or 3 matches like that. We had the Christian and Spencer when we were up 14-8 and we lost. I didn't sleep. Still haven't slept since that tournament because of that. And then, you know, we had this when we came in and won the main draw. And so, yeah, that was a good step for us. I mean, to win in the main draw against a good, solid team. I mean, that was a big win for us, even though we like went to Riley and Matt and got crushed and we're like, shoot, we're terrible, you know? So
no, for sure.
That was positive.
It's a huge stepping stone.
That's kind of the way it is though. Like for anybody that's not a bigger established name over the last couple of years, like whether you get through the qualifiers or you have enough points, like if you win your first round, it's a great accomplishment, but the second round matches are really freaking tough. You know, you're going through a big time seeded team. Like that's going to be a very tough breakthrough, I think, for just about anybody to get beyond that second round of the main draw of the PPA this year.
Yeah, it feels like win do your best in the first round if you can win it. You're a really tough second round, and then just go ruin some people's day in the back draw. It's probably going to be the story for the next few months.
Backdraw slayers.
Yeah.
Brice, tell me how your waste management was. I'll tell you what, bro. That was my first year going, and it was. I mean, MLP was mayhem. Waste management is just silly. I mean, some of the things I saw there, and I mean, not to butt in here, but one thing in particular. I mean, I felt so bad for this chick, but I mean, it's 4 or 5 days. People are just boozing all day long. I mean, the gates open at 4 a.m. People are bombing in there at 4 a.m. getting to hole 16. But there was it was Saturday. There was this gal at the entrance. All the girls are decked out in sundresses and heels and her and her boyfriend were at the entrance. She was fully blacked out. She had puked everywhere and basically fell down. There's people like piling in, and she's laying there with like a bunch of security, fully blacked out. Like I felt so bad for this chick, but that was it seemed like that was like the theme of the tournament,
Oh yeah, that's what it is. And all you listeners out there, Tyson was living it up. Waste management, okay? Like every corner I felt like I turned, it was like Tyson was there, right? Somebody was texting me like, "Hey, I met your boy today," and I'm like, "Who?" Because I'm in the golf space, so like I'm like, "Who?" And they're like, "Tyson." I'm like, "Oh, word? Like Tyson's not here?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it felt like every time I turned my head, my guy was right there. But nah, man. Waste Management Week is always a great week. It's a fun week. And this year, being a football guy as well, having the Super Bowl there also.
That whole week
there's a lot of different faces that, you normally don't see during Waste Management Week, right? That were around, that were going to Top Golf events, that were going to these events, so on and so forth. So for me, it was great to be able to, run into other guys, but then also run into like my past teammates. And then on top of that, still networking and, get my business going.
Hustling, baby.
Stuff like that. So always hustling. The Waste Management Week is always great. I typically only go one day, which is Friday. And like you saw me, I got my camera. I'm with my guy from USA Today. And that's my like free way, my cheap way of like being everywhere I want to be without having to like do all the stuff, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I can walk inside the ropes, I can cut across the fairways or whatever. So
do what you want.
But I ended up going on Sunday as well because my man Jason Day was in the hunt to try to win that thing, and he played really well. So I went up there on Sunday as well before the Super Bowl. But that week is always a great week. Kyle's been out here for some time, so I know he knows as well. It's like it's a crazy week. If you're not a golf fan if you're a local and you're not a golf fan, you probably hate that week. But it's awesome week.
Right. And I mean, I don't know, like I don't watch a lot of golf, and it really seemed like, I don't know, I guess when you're like, I had Miller Lite kind of take care of us that whole week, and so we were in like the Miller Suite and stuff like that. But it seemed like in those suites, like nobody's watching golf. Like
no.
there's a heavy amount of drinking taking place. There's a lot of celebrities and a lot of high end people all over. Like that first, or I ended up going on Wednesday for the Pro-Am day. Rod Fowler, Ricky's dad, has taken my camp a couple times. K-Mac was there in Palm Springs when he'd taken it, and so Rod took care of us Wednesday. Like I got to walk the course with Ricky and Michael Phelps and hang out there, and then went back Friday. Friday went in with Golden, and then met Jack Sock there. Like, bro, I don't know, like that, like those 4 or 5 days for me was just a complete highlight reel. I had such a good time, and definitely appreciate golf much more, after I guess being at the event. Found myself each morning, like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, turn on the TV, going to the Golf Channel, watching a couple rounds in the morning, and then going to Waste Management afterwards or later in the day. But no, man, such a good time. I saw Theo Vaughn. If you guys know Theo Vaughn, he's a podcaster, super funny. He's like He's got a channel with Brendan Schwab and brings on UFC fighters and stuff like that. Anyhow, there was celebs all over, like the Nelk boys were there, Theo Vaughn and anyhow, badass event. And then the cherry on top was freaking Super Bowl on Sunday, man. And I mean, what a game, right? I mean, obviously that was only like my second NFL game going to, and out of obviously.
Oh yeah, you went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. So Miller ended up taking care of us. We ended up going to the Super Bowl. We ended up in the Eagles area. And it's so funny, bro. Some of those Eagles chants, like when they score a touchdown, their like touchdown song, it lasts like a minute and a half. It's like so annoying.
Oh, yeah.
And
I mean, imagine being a Cowboys player and like you're playing in Philly.
Yeah,
in that bull.
Right.
Bro, I hate the Eagles.
Yeah. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles.
The crazy thing about that game, T, like, I thought the Eagles would win, but I was like, bro, I hope Patrick Mahomes figures it out because, like, I can't do another year of, like, Eagles fans.
Yeah.
Bro, this whole year, like, my phone was just getting littered with, like, you see your team? We're 8-0. Like, y'all aren't good. Like, and I'm like, bro, like, come on. So, like, when they went to the Super Bowl, I was like, if they win their second Super Bowl in the 5 or 6 years, I was like, I'd never hear the end of it. Because, you know, Cowboys, like, we haven't even sniffed the Super Bowl since, like, 95. Right. So I was like, I do not want to go through this another year. And luckily, Pat Mahomes helped me out.
Did his thing. I mean, Jalen had a insane game, though. I mean, threw for 300, ran for 75, 4 TDs. The guy balled out, bro. Pay that man. Pay that man.
Did you say that was your first game
that was
you went to?
No. So first game was with Miller, light as well. We ended up getting hooked up at the Raiders game in the suite there. It was after the bubbly event at Mandalay Bay. And then second game I've ever gone to was Super Bowl out in Glendale.
What was the difference? Give me your differences.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot more hype and stuff for the Super Bowl, but and I mean, we were in the suite at the Allegiant Stadium, which is sweet and brand new and like off the strip, like when you fly, or I guess when you're driving on the strip and like you take a look at that stadium, it looks massive, bro, massive. But yeah, we were
big black dome.
Yeah, it's huge. So we were, and it's crazy too how close it is to the strip. It's just right there, But right yeah. We were hooked up in the suite, all taken care of. This time at Super Bowl, I mean, they just got us tickets, right? So honestly, we were like 2 rows from the very top. No, we're way up there, bro, way up there. But no, great time. At like halftime, my PT that I'd been seeing for the last week and a half told me that he had seats like 30 rows up and he had 2 seats there. So Meg and I bombed down, found him, and ended up for like the last, I don't know, quarter and a half. We're like 30 rows up, but great game, man. I feel like that was probably one of the better Super Bowl games that have taken place in a very long time.
Yep.
Back and forth. But
that's dope. I'm glad the football community, you know what I'm saying, are inviting the pickleball community in, allowing you into our world and you seeing the vibes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so AL just re-signed with Paddletek. I would assume that deal is pretty stinking large. I mean, it's crazy what some of these paddle companies are paying out these days. And if you sign too early or if you sign a long-term deal, you may end up losing out. I mean, it seems like that figure is changing at a rapid rate. And I think what pros were getting paid last year for paddle deals compared to this year's night and day. So I would assume she's taken care of. I mean, obviously, by far, the best female player in the world in all 3 events. And don't know if you guys saw that Carvana commercial that just went out. I don't think she's sponsored I don't think she's sponsored by Carvana, but it looks like there may be a partnership there as she got her brand new range.
Yeah, I think it was just a smart marketing move by Carvana, right? Like they're connected to the PPA Tour. Obviously, the young phenom Leigh Waters turning 16, just kind of a perfect moment to give them an opportunity, give her first car, make a commercial out of it. I thought it was just a smart move on their part for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Kyle, tell me, do you ever play with Ernie?
Oh yeah. Ernie was over at the house a few weeks ago. I mean, there's few guys in the world more obsessed with pickleball than Ernie.
Didn't he play in the pro draw this last weekend?
Yeah, he played with one of our other buddies, Cooper.
Okay.
I think they went 0-2. I think they had like J-Dub and Dylan first, or maybe it was Deckel and AJ first. I mean, they had an easy first rounder and let it slip, it sounds like.
Yeah, so. Right. Bunch of chumps. bunch of chumps. Bro, you should tell Ernie the only way he can come over is if he plugs a car for you. You can play on my court if you give me a car, Ernie. Simple as that, buddy.
Yeah. Ernie's a great guy though. He's a great just like guy to hang out with. And he's a good player too. I mean, he tries to Ernie more than anybody I know. So kidding.
Ernie tries to Ernie.
Damn good. He's stupid athletic, and so he actually gets it a lot, which is funny. So he's a good time.
That's funny. Good.
How old of a guy is Ernie? About like how old is he roughly?
Oh, gosh, either late 30s or maybe I'll go late 30s in case he's not 40 something.
Right. That's the safe bet. Right?
Late 30s and crushing life.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I don't know, Tyson, real quick, man. I was actually kind of surprised that the AL re-signed with Paddletek just because of all the money in the sport. You saw that Ben, his latest signing, he switched to, the new company at the time, and Yola. I didn't know if Paddletek would have, deep enough pockets to keep her. Were you surprised by that, just being in the world for a while?
Well, I mean, so Curtis, one of the owners of Paddletek, from what it sounds like they're kind of weaning out some of their players, unlike Selkirk, who's signing everybody and their grandson. Right. It sounds like Paddletek is kind of going the route of just going maybe like 2 guys, 2 girls, but scaling back and trying to simplify. So with that equation, I would assume she got paid.
Frees up some funds to just invest in your marquee players. It makes sense.
Yeah. So what that dollar figure is, I have no idea, but north of 150, that's for sure. But kudos to her, man. The girl's doing a lot of great things, and I don't see her dropping off anytime soon. I do not. Where are all the females? I mean, do you guys both agree that like you feel like there's more females coming in the game?
I don't know.
I think. I think definitely we're going to start to see that. We're starting to see it more. I don't know why traditionally there's been more depth in the men's game than the women's game. I mean, maybe guys are just more willing to kind of chase that dream of being a pro athlete. If you're single and you're able to travel. I don't know if it's more complicated, for women. I'm not totally sure, but I think it's just a matter of time. We're starting to see more and more, talented women with high racket sport pedigrees coming in. And I think we're just going to see more and more going forward. What do you think, Kyle?
I think, it's inevitable. I mean, I agree with you. I don't know the why behind the more guys and girls. More depth in the guys' side, but as friends of friends see their friends start doing well, as more money obviously comes in, there's like opportunity to make more of a living in it. I think that's going to become more of a choice for more women. So I think it's coming.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Skechers signs a 5-year deal with USA Pickleball, which is great. They also signed a deal to be the official shoe of APP, PPA, and MLP. You guys can go to Skechers.com and purchase my shoe. Not in my color yet, but you can purchase my shoe, the Viper Pro. K-Mac's been rocking them for a long time now. People's been knocking at K-Mac's door saying, how in the heck do you get those shoes? But anyhow, get over to Skechers.com. You can purchase the mid-level shoe or the Viper Pro. The Viper Pro is I believe is running for $115. Great shoe, durable, comfortable, open toe guard, plenty of support in the heel, plenty of support in the ankle area. There's been some buzz on social media that I got hurt from the Skechers shoe. That is incorrect. That is very incorrect. I had a wonky hip actually I have a torn labrum in my hip that all kind of ran down my leg and made its way into my heel, which popped my plantar fascia, but was definitely not from my Skechers shoes. So don't you dare be spreading rumors. All right, Dylan and J-Dub here. I haven't beat this team for a very long time. I've been knocking at the door, and I've lost in 3 a couple times. But it seems like they are placing themselves kind of in that number 3 team category. They've been very consistent taking bronze. They took bronze at Desert Ridge. They took bronze this last weekend. Very good team. And you know, all of last year, as we saw with those guys playing APP events, pretty much dominated most of those APP events. Okay, Mac, tell me, would you agree that you think both of those guys are better in men's than they are mixed?
Yeah, I think so. I think that there's almost like an alpha, you know, personality in mixed that I think a little bit of that is important. And both those guys seem honestly just like really nice, sharp, calculated young men. And I think that men's maybe suits their style a little bit more of wanting to work the point, you know, wait for the right moment and then just kind of go where, as you know, in mixed, you know, bring the drive early, bring almost like uncalculated offense at times can be the right strategy. So I think they have the ability. I'm not sure if their temperament naturally suits to just like completely take over matches and mix. But yeah, I think clearly just ballers in all 3 events, honestly. And I don't think Dylan gets enough credit for being one of the really elite right side players now, in my opinion. I watched him play the Johns brothers right after they won a tight one against you and James at the Masters, and pretty impressed to see how Dylan did against Ben lined up with them. You know, he took some very smart, calculated chances. He dinked behind Ben, which I think is a big thing. When you can dink behind Ben, he just likes to kind of lift that dink back to the middle most of the time and allows your team to take control. So I think teams that can dink behind him can look to dictate a little bit more. But yeah, just a fun team to watch, and they're going to be around for a long time, either as a partnership or if they find other people, they have all the ability in the world. Yeah, no,
I think Dylan definitely has gotten himself established as one of the top right side specialists, that's for sure. I mean, I personally think Dub should start flipping more with the forehand off the bounce. I mean, obviously Rye flips more with the backhand off the bounce, but if he was a bit more like relentless with his offense, like it just seems like anytime he gets a ball in the middle, you know, he's either dinking towards the person in front of him's inside foot or he's going back inside out, where I feel like, you know, he's got clubby hands, as we all know. Like, I just, you know, what would that do to his game, you know, if you started flipping him a bit more off the bounce? I think it would only benefit him. So,
Tyson, go ahead. When you say flipping, you're saying just start speeding up.
Yeah, right. I think J-Dub, you know, he's very, very calculated. And like what Kyle just mentioned, you know, obviously he's better in men's because he's a lot more calculated, where in mixed, you know, you kind of have to bring that blind aggression and speed up more off the bounce and take some risks and stuff like that. And yeah, he's so steady with his dinking and really steady with his offense. His main source of offense is just his backhand flip. And generally it's always out of the air, you know. I just think he should be a bit more relentless and bully people off the bounce and show off that polo shirt, if you know what I mean.
Well, you look at a player like Riley Newman and how Riley's game has evolved a little bit in the last few years. Like, he was always a grind you out. When you speed up at him, he'll send a message that's not a good idea, right? But he's taken it to a new level, at least with his backhand, where like he's way more bold with firing, going at you off the bounce to kind of set himself up to use those fast hands on his terms. And to your point, Tyson, I think J-Dub has the skill set and has the hand speed to do that in a less calculated manner. And really specifically on the backhand side, if that ball bounces, it seems like he's always just slicing back the dink. I'd like to see him, you know, rip a couple two-handers a little bit more and mix off the bounce and just set himself up for hand speed battles against who's ever in front of him.
Yeah, smart. K-Max, so you just got done banging out a camp there at Legacy, and I heard it rained yesterday. But you guys made it through it.
We didn't sign up for any rain. Yeah, we got through it. My voice is a little hoarse now after, you know, commentating for a few days and then teaching a back-to-back, camp there. But no, it was successful. It's an awesome facility for tournaments, for camps. But yeah, for some reason, we had a bunch of rain. We were able to find a narrow 4-hour window where we were dry enough to get through it.
Crank it out.
was a success, and on to the next one.
Love it. If you guys want to sign up for one of K-Mac's camps, go to my website, TysonMcGuffin.com, and get yourself signed up. Pickleball Kyle, tell us what you got going on content-wise. Just kind of like what your goals are in pickleball, how you're looking to situate yourself in the space, even though you've already done a great job. But yeah, brother, what do you have going on?
Yeah, I mean, the main two things are training and new content. And like about maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I left my full-time job and just started doing this full-time. I started seeing an opportunity that I could actually make some money specifically doing the content. I think my total earnings as a pickleball player are like $112. So that came last week, whatever my earnings are. I think I'll see that in a while. But I started seeing some opportunity to. I love doing content. I started seeing ways that I could actually monetize that. Yeah. And then I was like, well, I want to train more. And I get asked the question a lot, like, do you like pickleball more? Do you like playing more? Do you like training more? Do you like content more? And not by a lot, but by a slim margin, I like training more and playing more. Yeah. It's a common story. It's like I played college basketball for 4 years, and then I stopped doing everything. I just like worked out and whatever. Then I played a little bit of basketball, but then I found pickleball, and I'm like, well, it's like the rebirth story. It's like, well, maybe I can compete again, right? So we've all heard it multiple times, but little by little, that just grew. And then now, I mean, I literally moved into a house and I built a court, and that was ideal for the content and for the training, which I'm really lucky that Arizona has big backyards. So I mean, every day I'm training with the intent to play at the highest level that I can. I mean, I have a goal to move into being a top 50 player, and that's what I'm working towards. And I'm just having fun. I mean, I'm just like enjoying the process of training. Yeah, like I was back in college playing basketball, enjoying the process of doing content. And as you know, you guys have both done so much content, like actually doing content, finding clips, breaking it down, thinking through how to teach something is only making my game better. So yeah, right, those are really the two primary things that are on my plate from a pickleball standpoint. So I'm just having a blast, honestly.
Well, bro, I think you're.
I'm curious. Oh, go ahead. Tyson.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, I think you're a great personality. I think you're great for the sport. Selkirk picking you up is smart and very educated by Selkirk. And no, brother, I just want to let you know, I think you're doing a freaking great job. And you're a great person, by the way. I mean, I've known you for what, about a year now. We did that, or you helped kind of orchestrate that impersonation video, which totally went viral, and I can't tell you how many people dressed up as me for Halloween, which was crazy. Open the floodgates.
Oh, that's so funny, man. I'm taking full responsibility for the Halloween thing. You didn't have anything to do with it. Your brand wasn't a part of it.
But just want to let you know that I think you're doing a great job with your brand.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Okay, Max, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna, so Kyle, obviously, I know you from social media, and I've watched, clips of points here or there, and, I can see the progress. I'm a total nerd for always looking at the draws and even faces I don't know. I know all the names of the people that are in qualifiers and everything. It seems like just your scores, like it's obvious that you're getting better and you're progressing, but tell me a little bit about your game. Like, what do you do well, like for you to reach your goals? Like, what do you need to improve? Just like, let me know a little bit more about like where you're at in your opinion, as far as your game.
Yeah. Well, I think what I do well, specifically like in mixed, I'm athletic and I move well and I have fast hands. And so that's been a real benefit. I mean, I think the things that I'm trying to really get better at right now that I've learned, that I did a podcast recently that we were talking about what's the hardest thing from going from 5-0 to pro. And one of the hardest things is just get into the kitchen and like the transition game. And like we played Matt and Riley this week. And sometimes like the drives aren't always as effective. You miss a drive high, it's either going out or you're getting pummeled. You miss a drop to Riley, or the drop bounces high. He's putting so much pressure on the fourth. Right. And so I think just really mastering the transition game, but then also just decision making. Like me and Michael played, and we're playing Wes and Eric, and both those guys are really good players. But just small decisions of where you think the ball can lead to the thing that happens 3 balls from now, right? And that's something that when you're at 5-0, it doesn't even matter. It's just like they're going to make them, whatever. But I think at the pro level, everything matters a little bit more. And like going from 4, I started playing 4-0, and that was like a little over a year ago. So going from 4-0 to 5-0 actually happened pretty fast. But I feel like going from newer pro to actually established is going to take twice as long, because of the nuance of it. But just getting better in transition, hitting more intentional dinks, like you guys are talking about, offense off the bounce. And honestly, one thing that's been so hard for me that I'm okay at it, but when you play against someone like Riley, you realize how bad you are, is the moment you speed up a ball, every single ball is coming back. It's like there's this like slight sliver of a moment where you think, oh, this is a winner. Like on Matt? No, not on Matt Wright. Like the ball's coming back twice as hard. So I think just continuing to do things that I practice what happens most in games from just a technical standpoint. I'm working on technique on different shots. I mean, I have a very little tennis background, so I'm realizing like Anna-Leigh hits it 10 times as hard as me with her backhand. Why? Her technique is so much better than mine. And so just like that's part of the hard thing about trying to improve is like, what am I going to spend my 2 hours on court at this session on? So all those things. I mean, I just named 22 things I'm getting better at.
right. Long list, like everybody else, man. Yeah, I like it.
Hey, Kyle, tell me, how can my viewers find you? What are your platforms? Do you have a website? You have a YouTube channel? How can they find you?
Yeah, that pickleball guy is the handle across all platforms. So I do a weekly newsletter where I put like a helpful tip out, share an entertaining video that I think is entertaining, and share more about. I go more in depth on my actual journey to pro and playing pro pickleball, and that's just that pickleballguy.com. But then on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, that pickleball guy. And so it's try to make it easy to remember. And so I bought all the handles right off the bat.
Smart
man.
Okay, well, K-Mac, do you have any last things here for our viewers, brother?
No, man. Thanks for having me on. Good to catch up with you. It's been a minute, but we'll see you next time, man.
Yeah, for sure. Pickleball Kyle, thanks again for coming on, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, man, for sure. Wish you the best of luck. And Kyle, are you going to Pictona March 9th?
Undecided yet.
You going to Minnesota this weekend?
Yeah, I was supposed to fly out today. Got a huge storm, got me delayed.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to fly out tomorrow.
That's what I hear. And then you said you're iffy about Pictona.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Are you looking for a partner on that one? I was yeah. Did James drop you, or do you still?
No, I still have my partners. I still got Kath. I still got James. Even though I've been out for a couple tournaments, they still love me.
Just let me know. I think I was looking for a partner on that one.
Got you, bro.
I love it. You got it. You got a network, right? You got a network.
Shoot your shot.
The game.
All right. Well, hey, thank you, gentlemen. My name is Tyson McGuffin. This is the McGuffin Show. We'll see you guys next episode.